two of whom were determined to be dead.
Plymouth County DA updating the situation in Brockton.
Assigned to the DA's office are working and currently investigating this matter. It just happened, strike that. We've only been here for a little more than an hour and a half. It's an active investigation. If anybody has any information from this area, from this location, please reach out and contact either the Brockton Police or the Massachusetts State Police or the Plymouth County DA's office located in Brockton at 508-584-8120. This is an active investigation, and we are not in a position to give out a lot of information at this time. But I'll answer what I can at this point.
How old were the children?
Right now, we're still trying to identify exactly who they are. The bodies of the children that we've discovered to date so far, we believe are 5 and 8, but we're not sure yet, pending positive ID.
Can you tell us if the mother was taken in an ambulance away?
I can tell you that that's part of the investigation right now. Any and all people that may have been or have any affiliation with this apartment or this location, people that we're interested in talking to, so that is part of it right now.
DA Cruz, one of the city councilors was reporting that the children were stabbed.
Well, that's part of the investigation right now. I'm not going to really comment on the cause of death. I'm going to wait until the ME's office, crime scene services, do their job. They will make a determination as to the exact cause of death and the manner and means of death, and we'll release that information when we get it.
Is anyone home with the kids?
Children inside the apartment?
At the time when the police officers showed up for the well-being check, medical check, my understanding is there's only two children that were in the apartment.
Anyone else, any adults?
Right now, that's part of the investigation.
Are you looking for other children that may live here as well?
We continue to look for any and all kids that may have an affiliation with this apartment or may have even know people in this apartment. Like I said, we're trying to put this together as best we can. There's a lot of moving pieces right now, and I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to get that information. And when I get it, to the extent that we can, we'll certainly be happy to turn that over.
Did it seem like the children...
Did they hear some kind of noise coming from that apartment? What brought it to their attention that they thought there was something wrong?
That's also part of the investigation, and we'll be releasing that later.
Was a weapon found inside that apartment?
I can't comment on that at this
How
point.
long were the children deceased? Is there any indication?
We're going to wait until the ME's office has an opportunity to do a thorough examination. At that point, obviously, time of death, cause of death, those are all very important pieces of information we need to extrapolate, put together, and we're going to continue to wait for that.
The relationship between these two children?
I'm not going to mention the relationship, but there was one.
You mentioned you need help from the public. Do you have any people of interest that you're looking for that the public can help with?
Well, there's certainly people that we're talking to, that we're working in this direction. However, I'm not going to say right now who they are or what we're looking for, other than the fact that if anybody made any observations around this area, to please reach out to the Brockton Police and the Mass State Police.
Have you guys been called here before?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Any signs of forced entry into that apartment?
Once again, part of the investigation.
Are people safe in this community? There are certain people are coming out of their doors saying, who are the people involved? When did this happen? Are we safe? Is there someone on the loose? Are we safe?
I mean, I think obviously this is an ongoing investigation right now. A terrible thing happened in this apartment across the way from here, and we need to make sure we get to the bottom of it as best as we can and as quickly as we can. That's what we're trying to do, and when we get more information, we'll certainly let the public know as soon as we can. That's why we're addressing you right now with very limited information.
How long do you think the children were inside that?
I don't know at this point.
Any specific vehicle?
I'm not going to get into what the genders at this point.
Are you looking for a vehicle?
It's part of the investigation right now.
Have there been problems in that apartment before?
I'm not going to comment on that.
How many apartments are in this?
My understanding, I think there's three stories, but I'm not sure how many apartments are now.
Were they all occupied? Are they all occupied?
I don't know. Like I said, we're doing all that right now, so that we're trying to do the best as we can. I have with me Mayor Carpenter, if he can maybe address
And
the
also,
issues.
we saw a cat being taken away. Was that at the apartment?
I'm sorry?
A cat being taken away.
Well, normally at a crime scene, if there is an animal or a pet, it's not unusual for the environmental police to show up and take those animals.
It was in the apartment?
My understanding is yes. Yeah.
Was the cat harmed at all?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah.
Were these children obviously supposed to be in school at the time?
Like I said, my understanding is the age of the children are 5 to 8. Whether or not they're supposed to be in school today, I don't have that information.
Do you know, can you say if they lived there?
I'm not going to say that as of yet. I'm going to wait for the ID. I feel more comfortable doing it that way.
Do you think you'll have an ID at some point today?
I don't know. I hope so. Sooner the better.
Oh, pardon me. Mayor Carpenter, care to answer some questions? So one of your city councilors was putting out information that that the children had been stabbed. Do you have any similar information?
I don't. The district attorney is leading the investigation with the state troopers assigned to his office. Brockton Police Department is very actively aiding in the investigation, and the district attorney is the lead on this.
Mayor
you
Carpenter,
got a
can you
phone
talk
call,
about
I
the...
understand. Can you talk a little bit about who you put it out to and what it said?
There was a couple calls that went out amongst school committee and city council. It was a confidential report. It was not any type of a public statement.
Can you talk about the safety of this community at this point?
The district attorney is leading the investigation. We don't have any reason to believe that right this moment anyone else is at risk, but it's, as the district attorney said, this is very, very early, very fluid, a lot of moving pieces right now, and I think we need to give the investigators an opportunity to sort it all out.
But there's no lockdown or anything in this neighborhood right now. Everyone is okay to like move around.
There's no lockdown right now, correct. But we also need to make sure people understand that we're doing the very best we can to get the information that we need to get to process the information and also process the case. And if we have additional information that may lead to us changing that position, we'll do that as soon as we can.
Mayor, you said information was given out from a confidential report. Were there city councilors or city employees in violation of any rules that you know?
No, I'm not going to comment. There's a very limited amount of information confidentially shared with the elected officials in the city, top elected officials. Well, I'm not going to comment any further. There are people that needed to be notified, particularly with
Well, should they not share that information with the public? Were they told not to share that information with the public?
The school district at this point?
We are in active conversations with the school district, yes.
Do you know if they're doing anything on their end as far as?
They have a whole protocol that they immediately put into place when a tragedy like this occurs.
Could you tell us how you feel about this tragedy? I mean, 2 kids were found.
Well, I mean, we're all very upset right now, but we're trying to do the best we can to assist the investigators.
And do you have any indication as to when you might have another update for us?
Not at this time, I don't. But as soon as we can, we will.
Hey,
DA
what do you
Cruz,
want
would
to say
that-
to anybody that might have information about who these children are or what happened?
Well, I think it's clear, as the district attorney indicated, that anyone that has any familiarity with any events that may have taken place here in or around this address, the investigators certainly would like an opportunity to speak with.
Would any further updates, DA, come from here, this location?
You know what? Not necessarily. We're not sure when that will occur. I mean, whether or not be via a communication or an email or whatever. But obviously, we'll get the word out as best as we can. And if there is going to be a further media update, we'll certainly give you notice. Okay? All right. Thank you all.
You've been listening to the Plymouth County DA update the press about what the DA said was a terrible thing that happened in this apartment building. We're talking about 247 Prospect Street in Brockton, where 2 children have been found dead. The mayor of Brockton, did not want to go into the details because it is an active and ongoing investigation. Earlier, a city councilor had told WBZ that he had received a recorded message from the mayor's office telling them what had happened. And that these children had been stabbed. The DA was reluctant to get into the details of what happened here, but did say he believed the children were between the ages of 5 and 8 years old. 2 children in that apartment, and he's asking the public for any information about what they might have seen, about who they might know that lives in this 3-story building on Prospect Street in Brockton. We will update information for you on CBSBoston.com, and of course have the very latest beginning at 5 o'clock on WBZ News. We'll send you back now to regular programming.